evening, afternoon, everyone. My name is Mark,
And I'm Zoe.
and we are the Board Adventurers here for a very momentous occasion. This is our 50th video, and we are going to do our top 50 games of all time. This is kind of a year and a half in the making. We kind of started this channel back last year, technically. We haven't put as many out last year, but kind of sort of picked it up this year. But we went through a lot of good games, and now we're kind of ready to put together a list of 50.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you use Pub Meeple to put
I
yours together?
did use Pup Meeple. I am not good at ranking things.
Oh, yeah?
I feel like I forget things and then I get myself confused. So Pub Meeple is awesome. So I really utilize that to make my list.
How many games did you end up going through?
I went through I put into Pub Meeple about 120, 130 games. And went through the questionnaire to spit out my 50.
Nice. Yeah, for me, I whittled my list down to 110. And then from that 110, I threw it into Pub Meeple. But some of those choices were just gut-wrenching.
Agreed, yeah.
Some of these games, I was like, I want to change it, but Pub Meeple tells me this is where it is, so that's where it's at.
I found putting together my list, and I'm curious if you felt the same way, that one, I was surprised by my own list, but also felt like it was incredibly accurate to what my taste is. Also, it kind of made me realize what type of gamer I am a little bit, like what I like in games.
Yeah, I thought I knew what you liked, but seeing these past lists, I have no idea. But my list gets spicy around that 30 to 10 mark.
Yeah.
My top 10 kind of is what you expect if you've watched our channel before. But that 11 to 29, I was surprised by at least maybe a quarter of the games that made that list.
Yeah, my 30 to 11, I'd say. It was like very surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to get started with our 50 to 41 in this video. Do you want me to start?
Sure.
All right. So my number 50 is a last minute change that I made. 50 and 51 were so close to me, I decided to switch them both. My number 50 is a deck building game. It is the primary or the game you think of when you think of a deck building game. That's Dominion. Rio Grande's Dominion is just a mechanic of deck building. You take 10 cards from this set of cards. You take the decks for them, and then you deal out 10 cards, which have coins and victory points in terms of like I think it's like a duchy, or I think the duchy's 3, but there's another one in there that's worth 1 point. And you're basically trying to build a deck that will draw out cards and give you victory points at the end. And then the end game is when all of the provinces are gone, which is like the highest victory point amount, or when 3 of the decks are depleted. This is such a simple game. I still love introducing this to people. It's a great introduction to the deck building mechanic, and some game that I still really, really enjoy. So that's my number 50, Dominion.
Nice. I haven't played Dominion. I really do want to play Dominion. I think there's an app for it out.
Yes, I think
so. I might download the app and try it out because I feel like it is a game that I would enjoy.
Okay.
But cool. My 50 is a game that if we had to make a top 50 when we first started the channel, it probably would have been a top 20. But it's still a game that I pretty much enjoy.
So you just hate it now.
I know, I hate it so much as my 50. But this is Villainous.
Oh.
Yeah, Villainous is my 50 game. I like Villainous. I still like it. If you haven't played Villainous, it is a Disney game and you're playing the villain of a Disney movie. So think Scar from Lion King, or Cruella from 101 Dalmatians. Each player is going to play a villain from a Disney movie, and you're competing with each other to see who is the most villainous of all the villains. And each person has their own specific quest that they have to complete, and whoever completes it wins the game.
Right.
I like the game. I like the fact that you're playing as villains. I like the theme of the game. I think it's cool. The pieces look really, really nice. It is easy to learn. At least for me, I think it's easy to learn. My only problem with the game, as for subsequent playthroughs, the more and more I play it, I kind of get tired of this aspect of the game, is that a lot of villains are luck-based, and it comes down to just drawing the right card at the right time, and you have to cull through your deck.
Yeah.
And I find that the more and more I play it, the less interesting that becomes because you're really just discarding, picking back up. Did I get what I need? All right, next turn I'm going to do the same, and then
Right.
rinse
I
and repeat.
actually think one of my favorite characters to play in Villainous are the ones that are really hard to win with. Like you
Yeah,
have
true.
Hades or you have Mother Gothel. I would love to be able to win, even though it's so hard to win with them.
Yeah,
But that's the way I would play Villainous.
yeah,
I wouldn't want to just be to have the easy win.
yeah.
But Villainous is great.
Yeah,
it is
Villainous
not
is-
on my list,
Oh, not surprising.
fortunately.
Definitely like that game more than you do. And I agree with you in terms of villains. My favorite villains are the one that when you read the instructions is not just find this, then find this. It's a specific quest like the Robin Hood villain of getting $20. Simple, but it's more interesting than other characters which have
Yeah.
drawn out a card.
There's a new one out now that has King Candy from Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah.
I'm interested in playing that.
Yeah, I slowed down on the expansion because I have 4 expansions of Villainous, and I was like, I haven't played this in a year. I'm gonna
Yeah.
slow down on this, but
Yeah.
I'm curious about
But
that.
still,
too.
yeah, it's a great game.
Yeah.
You didn't make my list, but it's a good game.
Nice, good
Yeah.
stuff.
Nice. Before I get to my 49, I should just say that this section of 10 right here, I want to have a sub theme. It's going to be my old school kind of staying power.
Okay,
All right. My number 49 was on my top 10 two-player games list. And you can probably then gauge what's higher than that and what's lower than that. So this is chess. Again, chess is, as I mentioned before, this is a game that my dad introduced me to. I still have his board. This is a game that I still look to play one game before I go to sleep every night. It's a simple game. Again, it's just an abstract game of capturing your opponent's king. You pin it somehow, and then you checkmate it. If you don't know how to play it, definitely look up online. There's definitely more people that are smarter than I am that can teach you how to play chess at a more advanced level. My number 49 is chess.
nice. I like chess, not on my list, but definitely a classic and deserves to be in the top 50.
Yeah.
And my 49, sticking with the theme of games from our top 10 two-player month. I guess great
Okay.
minds think alike. And you could probably gauge where, if you watch that, where the rest of the games are. But my number 49 is Mr. Jack Pocket. It is a game that I feel like is an acquired taste game, but I really, really enjoy this small deduction style game in which you and your opponent are sharing the actions, and based off of what you pick and what your opponent pick, you're telegraphing what is on the board. And I like that aspect of Mr. Jack Pocket. And I've never played any of the Mr. Jack games. I really want to play. I think there's Mr. Jack New York. There's a Jack the Ripper version, and there's a regular Mr. Jack.
Right.
I want to play one of those because from what I understand, this is a very simplified, bogged down version of those games. So I really want to play those games. But for what Mr. Jack Pocket is, I think it's a really solid, smart deduction game. So, but yeah, that's my number 49.
Nice. My number 48 is a Bruno Catala game.
Nice.
It might be, not to spoil it, but the first of possibly many Bruno Catala games on this list. This is a game that I played for the first time last year, and I think it's grown on me because it's in my top 50. That's Abyss.
Nice.
Okay. Abyss is it has simple actions. Again, if you watch our top 10 from last year, you'll see it on that list, how we described it.
Yeah.
But I just love the simplicity of the choices you have. You can do one of 3 things. If you don't want to draw one of the cards, your opponents then can take it from you by paying you a pearl.
Yeah.
Pearls can be used to pay for other things. You get these these cards that then pay for these higher scoring victory point conditions. But I think I've said it before, but Bruno Catala designs just such elegant games.
He does.
Where
Yeah.
actions kind of coincide with each other slightly, but just enough to give you a thought process. It's I want this to do this, but then I need that to do this. So it gives you almost a pathway to follow.
Yeah.
And that's what makes me enjoy games like Abyss. So that is my number 48, Abyss.
Good stuff. Abyss is a game I really enjoy. It just missed my list. It just missed it. But it's a game I really do enjoy.
All right,
It's
we're
a
gonna
good choice
we're gonna
there.
talk about Bruno later.
Probably multiple times.
Yeah.
Not this 50. My 48 is another deduction style game. One that I really, really enjoy, and I really want to get some more playthroughs of it. But one that really left a mark when I did play it. This is Search for Planet X.
Really?
Yeah, I really, really enjoy this game. It's really just asking questions, going around the board and
Wow,
asking
okay.
questions. But
Yeah.
I think it really works for me. But I think it's also an acquired taste type of game. There's not much of a big board game aspect to it. It's really just deduction.
Right.
But I like it a lot. To the point where I want to play the Search for Lost Species
Yeah.
version
And
of
then
it as well.
there's that other one too. There's
There's a third one.
I think there's a third one. It's like
Oh.
search for it's like a space theme one, I think. We have to look that up. But,
Yeah.
Yeah. But I've heard there's a third one. in the
Got
works.
it. I didn't know about that one. But I really enjoy just the getting information, jotting it down, trying to deduce in your head where things are, and then kind of gathering the information based off of what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
I enjoy that in board games. So
Yeah, it's like that also idea is that you're trying to find where everything else is too, because if you find, say, like where the asteroid is, or like I think it's like a dwarf planet or something like that,
yeah.
then you can determine, like you score points off of that. So you don't necessarily have to win by locating Planet X,
Yeah.
but you get, if you make enough, correct judgment, and the whole like tracker thing where it's like whoever's furthest behind gets actions,
Yeah.
and the more powerful the action you get is like you go further ahead.
Yeah.
I like that idea that like it's kind of slightly balanced in that way.
100%. I do like that a lot. The whole you don't win just by finding Planet X.
Yeah.
Because the game is asking you to deduce everything. Get as much information that you can, not just focus on one thing. Because that's the enjoyment of the game is deduction
Yeah,
and
yeah.
finding out things. I really
Okay.
enjoy it. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
my number 48.
Yeah, Search for Planet X is a good game.
Yeah.
All right, my number 47. Again, it's one of the older games on my list. This is a game that my wife absolutely loved the first time we played it, and that's why we have the game. This is Escape: Curse of the Temple. This is a real-time action game where you're rolling dice. You're basically in a temple and you're trying to escape. So
pretty good.
the main idea is that you're trying to find the exit.
Yeah.
And you're doing it by going through a deck of tiles. Every time you open up a tile, they'll sometimes have a curse on it. So curses will give you effects where you need to roll to remove them, or you can stay with them, but it gives you like some very bad effects. Like sometimes you'll have to hold your hand above your head until you roll that. There's one that's even worse where if the dice rolls off the table, it's permanently lost. Those can be heartbreaking. Another one is if you open a curse and it says there's a die face that lets you remove a black, which is a locked die. So when you roll the die, if you roll the black face on the die, you can't roll that die until you roll a yellow. If you roll a yellow, you can remove 2 of the black die faces. The curse makes it so that you only remove 1. Those can suck because once everyone locks out, you have to, in a sense, give gems into the pot that you need to remove to get out of the temple.
Yeah.
This game is great. This game can be played in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then every time there's like 2 certain phases in there where when there's a huge gong, you'll have to run back to the first room, and then if you don't make it to that first room, you lose a die. It's very manic. It's very chaotic. But I really enjoy this game. It's especially if a game that you don't know if you really like, if you'll be able to get people to play it. But I just love the manic nature of this game. So that's Escape: Curse of the Temple.
Nice. It's one of the best games to play with people who don't play board games. 1. 2, I like Escape: Curse of the Temple because it's a game that knows what it is.
Yeah.
It's just pure fun, and I really enjoy that.
Yeah.
I enjoy the music it comes with. It really heightens the mood. It's a great game. I don't think it made my list, but yeah, it was close too.
Okay.
That's a good choice. Nice. So my 47 is a heavy game, and I usually heavy games don't make it high on my list.
Okay.
Because I'm usually less inclined to replay it after learning it.
Okay.
But this game that we played again recently, and I was like, yeah, I really like everything about this game. And that game is Ark Nova. That's my number 47. Yeah. Are you surprised it made my list?
Ark Nova made your list?
Yeah, I like Ark Nova a lot.
Okay.
Replaying it recently, it made me realize that every aspect of this game, and part of the reason why heavy games are not usually hit for me all the time is because like there's usually one or two aspects of the game I really enjoy, but because it's heavy, there's a bunch of different other aspects that I find like not as enjoyable. Arc Nova, there's a bunch of different things that it does that I think all really works. I like the way choosing your action works. And when you choose the action, it goes to the beginning, and then it determines how strong of an action it is, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I like the playing out the animals, and the cards just in general. I like building out the little, I don't want to say tableau, but the actual animal zoo aspect of
it's
it.
like the tile placement
the
of
tile
it.
placement,
and then you're
yeah.
flipping over when the animal goes into the enclosure.
I like that. I like the drawing the cards. I like every aspect. I even like how the end game mechanic of the game, where if the two pieces cross each other, that's when the game ends. I like that aspect of it. I think just everything kind of hits for me, and it's kind of surprising for me, because usually with these type of games, it's like one or two things I'm like, oh, I wish this wasn't in here, but it works for me. So I think it would be higher if I played it more, but it's still a game I really enjoy.
Yeah, Arc Nova is a very well thought out game.
Yeah.
We might have to talk about this later. All right.
Cool.
Nice. All right.
Yeah, that's my number 47.
Nice. All right. My number 46, again, is an older game. We've played on this channel. We've reviewed it, actually, on this channel.
Nice.
It is a Days of Wonder game. This is Mystery of the Abbey. Mystery of the Abbey can be described as maybe the step above Clue, right? Because if you've played Clue before, you have six suspects, 6 weapons, I think like 9 rooms, 10 rooms. Mystery Abbey kind of slightly changes that in that you add a whole bunch of suspects with a different characteristic.
Yeah.
So you have different priests or brothers that have different varying levels, and then of those levels you have different sects. So you have like the Templars, you have the Benedictines, and then you have one more. But it divides them up, and then you can be either pudgy or skinny. They can be bearded or shaved, and I forget the other one.
They can be old or young.
Oh, old or young. Yeah, that's right. Correct. And then you're asking questions whenever you walk into a room with someone else, kind of similar to Clue. And it adds in card effects though that change up the game, because every round you're passing a card from your hand to another player. So there's always a shared information that's being shifted around. But sometimes, you get to take cards from other people's hands. And there's a stack of cards that, is not known yet to anyone else. You want to get that information as soon as you can, because you want all that information to be able to figure out who did it first.
Yeah.
Right? And it's done just so well. The new version that's coming out, I think next year. It doesn't look like it changed too many of the mechanics, so I don't think I'm gonna end up getting it, but I still will keep playing Mystery Abbey, introducing it to people that haven't really gotten into the hobby but love Clue. This would be, I think, a good next step into there.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said, and I probably might have more to say later.
Oh, okay. Wow.
But in terms of the new one, it's I read the rules, and it's the same rules. It's just the art is different, and the art doesn't look as good. But that's a good choice. It's a great game.
Nice.
Cool. So my number 46 is a small card game, one that really has a lot of uniqueness to it, and it changes every time you play it. I really enjoy it. It is The Crew, just in general, both versions of The Crew.
Nice.
I really like it. I really like the non-verbal co-op aspect of the game. It makes for a very fun, enjoyable time where you're just kind of like laughing at the table.
Right.
How you communicating things and trying to communicate what you have and don't have. And
Yeah.
That fun frustration when you're not communicating correctly, but also not understanding you. It's just a fun game, and it just really works for what it's trying to do.
Yeah.
It really brought back the genre. It's a
Trick taking?
Trick taking. It really brought back trick taking games.
Okay.
And there's been a lot of new trick taking games, as with little twists and whatnot. But I still feel like The Crew is one of the better ones.
Yeah.
So
I love like that each each round is different in the sense
Yeah.
that you get a different type of mission, and that's what creates the variability in play.
Yeah, it's like a new game every time. It's
Yeah,
cool.
and that new mission Deep Sea just changes it up too, because it
Yeah.
just instead of just winning a certain type of card, it's now like I need to win 2 tricks and then lose every other trick.
Yeah.
It changes it up just slightly enough, but it adds like almost a different level of complexity.
Yeah.
Crew's great. It's
Yeah.
not on my list.
Really?
It is not on my list. I'm trying to figure out where it falls on my list.
That's the most surprising thing.
Yeah,
Crew's not on your list.
That's a good, yeah. Oh, it's like for like in the 70s right now.
I thought you enjoyed it more than I have.
I did like the Crew, but I think after I finished Deep Space Nine or
Mission Deep Sea.
Search for Planet Nine, and then I started Deep Sea, and then I just kind of faded off of it. I
Got
think.
it.
But
I get it.
Crew is still great. I think
Yeah.
as you're talking about it, I'm like, I kind of want to get back into it. All right. If I was to gauge, no, this isn't the heaviest game on this 10. This is the second heaviest game on this top 10 for me, in this 50 to 41 right now. And this is a game that's set in the theme of Alice in Wonderland. This is Wonderland's War. We played a game of this more recently, and I think it shot up because last year it was low.
Yeah, it was low.
It was like 9 for me. I think on that list. I think right now, if I were to gauge it, like it would have shot up maybe to at least 5, maybe at this point. But Wonderland's War is it's almost like a slightly card drafting area control game. So it's 2 phases. So you're going around first a table, picking up cards. Once you've picked up 4 cards, and then it's a bag building too. You can add chips to a bag, or you can do you can add soldiers out into like 5 different areas of the board. And then once the table is over, you're gonna go into a kind of like a area control battle. And then you score based on if you win the control battle. Wonderland's War is great. The bag building in this is phenomenal, I think. I love the kind of craziness of pulling a chip out of your bag and just completely busting. The busting mechanic is a little complicated to get around at first.
Yeah.
Because when you bust, everything goes into your discard zone, and everything if you completely get removed from the area, everything from that zone gets put back into your bag.
Yeah.
It took us a little bit of time to wrap our heads around that concept, but once we got a couple games down, every game since then has been quite good.
Yeah.
Because now planning everything is better. I love the forging aspect that improves your action.
Yeah.
Wonderland's War is a great game, and I think it's gonna rise up. If I had to pick any of the 10 games in this. It'll be the second game that'll rise up in this 10th section. But that is my number 45, Wonderland's War.
It's a great choice. So for my 45 is a game I played a handful of times and I really enjoy it. It definitely has like a little gimmick to it, but I kind of like it. That's Architects of the West Kingdom.
Ooh.
So Architects is a worker placement game. And the main hook of it is that you have 20 workers as opposed to the normal 2 or 3 workers you'll normally play in a worker placement game. And the other hook to it is that you have to take an action to actually get those workers back. You don't automatically get those workers back. And your opponent can send those workers that are left out on the board to jail.
Yeah.
And that's on top of the normal worker placement aspects of board games where you just go somewhere, get resources, and then play cards.
Yeah, and then at the end of the round, you take them all back.
Yeah. I really, really, really like the gimmick of having 20 workers out there. And I think Garphill Games, from the games that I played from them, they do a good job of taking a traditional mechanic in a board game and just kind of add in something unique towards it. Like Raiders of the North Sea is not going to be on my list only because I played the app version of the game. But if I played the board game itself, it would probably be higher than.
I thought you would have put Raiders on your list.
If I actually played the board game version of the game, it would be much higher than Architects.
Okay.
But that takes a simple place a worker and then for an action, and you could take a worker for an action. It sounds very simple, but the way they utilize it is very, very unique and actually changes the way the game plays. And I really, really like that aspect of it. Same thing with Architects. I love that you have 20 workers out there.
Yeah.
And it sometimes feels like it's not enough.
Yeah, and I do like games too that have a variable end condition. It's like it's done when you finish building the cathedral, right?
Yeah.
So like it just changes enough, but it still takes the simplicity of a worker placement and really kind of hones it into that. Architects isn't on my list. It is 53.
Wow.
It just missed. It was one of the heartbreak ones.
What is on your list?
I don't know. I really don't know. All this
these
stuff is wild to me.
I thought we were going to be overlapping a lot, but so far it's not that. Oh, it's interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my number 45, Architects of the West Kingdom.
Nice. My number 44 is going to ruin the top 10 games of 2024. Because it is a game that is surprisingly on this list. And it's a game I'm thinking may end up on your list at some point.
Huh.
This is the newest game we've played.
Oh,
This
okay.
is Comic Hunters.
Yeah.
We unfortunately weren't able to make Gen Con this year. But we were able to get a copy of Comic Hunters from Barnes & Noble.
Yeah, Barnes & Noble.
And we played a game. And I love drafting games. It's kind of like it's wild how much this game hit me.
Yeah.
What the times that we played, it just feels different. Like I played Modern Arc before, where it's just a straight auction mechanic.
Yeah.
And it's okay to me. When I play Comic Hunters and it's just the drafting mechanism, the theme doesn't even really stand out too much, but the drafting mechanism just creates such a good endorphin kick to me. It's like you draft and then you set collect. Right? And then it's a variable set collection scoring mechanic. Comic Hunters is great. They could really have posted any theme, but like Comic Hunters kind of fits in the sense of you're collecting a comic book.
Yeah.
To me, like the theme is okay, but I love the mechanisms that go into Comic Hunters. And this kind of spoils it for my list, but I love card drafting games.
Yeah.
You'll see more of these as we go on, but Comic Hunters was such a good hit with me this year. You're going to see this on my top 10 for the end of the year, just guaranteed.
Yeah. I will say, I'll have more to say about Comic Hunters later on, but I enjoyed the game so much I can't help myself and say
Okay.
I really, really enjoyed this game.
I honestly didn't know if it would make your top 50 based on the 3 plays that we had of it.
I enjoyed this a lot.
Okay, all right.
It is going to be in there.
Okay.
First of all, if you love drafting games, you might as well just buy this game right now, because the whole thing is just drafting. Different ways of drafting. That's the game. And it's really, really good. We like drafting games.
I didn't know that whole, like, I actually appreciate the convention one where you're sliding a card and taking everything from a certain symbol.
Too, yeah.
It's like it turns into a slight puzzle too.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, so Comic Hunters is great. I say go try it out. This is my number 44.
Nice. So my number 44 is a game that I'm surprised made my list. But like thinking about it more, I actually really did enjoy playing this game. So I do want to play this more. This is Meadow.
Okay, Meadow.
I love, and I think part of the thing for Meadow too, one, I'm already tired of the whole nature theme, but I feel like this works for Meadow. I love the way that you pick cards. I love the sliding in the thing and picking the card in that row. I really, really, really enjoy that.
Yeah.
And that alone makes Meadow make my list. I just really enjoy that aspect of the game.
Yeah.
I don't really have much else to say about the game other than the way you choose cards in it. It's really, really unique.
You can always go you also have like your hiking trail, your path, where you
Yeah.
can build a road and then you can see things on it. That gives you more victory points. Then there's also the campfire.
That's cool too.
Well,
but,
we'll talk about it maybe.
yeah.
Later.
But yeah, that's my 44.
Nice. All right. My number 43 was on last year's top 10 list. And it is the heaviest game in this top 10, or in this 10 list of 10 right here. This is the Vital Lacerda game that was on my list last year. This is Lisboa. As I was making this list, I really thought Lisboa wouldn't have made my list based on the last play that I had of it, because my friend group they were par on the feeling of it. But when I thought about it, I was like, man, that was such a good game.
Yeah.
I want to keep playing Lacerda games. They're just so heavy to get out. And their their rule books are just so hard to get through. Lisboa it's just, again, it's a game where you're trying to rebuild Lisbon after it's been hit by 3 major disasters. And you do so by talking to the main people in charge. You get them to do a certain action where it's like you build a store, or you can build ships. You can set sail on some of those ships. You can take public actions, and you can what's it called? Yeah, you can build stores where it gives you more resources when you do the resource action.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that goes into Lisboa. Just thinking about it right now makes my brain hurt. But it was still such a good game. I want to play Kanban Eevee so much. I feel like if I played Kanban Eevee, this would be on my list. But for now, Lisboa takes that spot.
Nice.
This is my number 43.
Good stuff. I still have to play Lisboa.
Oh,
I still have to play. Maybe we should have a day where we play Kanban, Eevee, and Lisboa.
Maybe
we'll
the two.
We'll need 8 hours, but we'll get through.
Yeah. I might be able to get Lisboa done in 3. Maybe.
Really?
Maybe 3.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Good choice. My number 43 is another 2-player game. One that we've talked about many times, that we reviewed twice at this point. This is Summon of Wars.
Ah, nice.
I like Summon of Wars. I think the many characters you can play with is really good. I like the fact that they all have their own specific rule set, but it doesn't completely break the game. They just kind of slide right into the rule set of the game. I really think that's kind of impressive. And it just works for me. It's just a solid 2-player game, solid 2-player battle game.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my number 43.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you're gonna have more to say about
I like
this
Summon
segment.
Wars. I like Summon Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah. 42 for me is a game that I realized we reviewed a lot of these games on our channel.
Yeah.
Number 42 for me is the Isle of Cats. It's a tile placement game. If you haven't seen our review, go check that out. But what you're gonna do in Isle of Cats is you're trying to rescue cats as an island is being attacked, I think, by a villainer. You're first going to be drafting cards around. So you're trying to get both boots, or like running boots, and cages or like baskets to put the cats into. And that's where the beauty of like your thought process goes in, because each boot and basket costs a certain amount of fish. You only have 15 to start the round with, and luckily you can carry it over. But that 15, it goes into both buying the card and then also playing the basket to capture a certain cat.
Yeah.
Because in order to capture a cat, you also have to pay fish, kind of like a lure into the basket type of thing. So sometimes you're gonna, like you've had those heartbreaking decisions of, do I want to get the half basket, which is free, or do I get the full basket, which is possibly worth, I can at least fit another cat.
Yeah.
But now I can't put the cat in here because now I have to pay for it.
Yeah.
It's those decisions that really make this game very crunchy. And it's not entirely a long game. It's like 5 rounds. You can finish this in like less than 2 hours.
45
Yeah,
minutes.
that's with 4 players.
Yeah.
So Isle of Cats makes you have some really good decisions that you need to make. And that's why this is my number 42. This is Isle of Cats.
One, I am so surprised it's on your list.
Really?
I knew.
You didn't
I
like
know
Isle
you,
of Cats?
I know you like Isle of Cats. I didn't know it was top 50. Because you don't really like polyomino games like that.
I don't, but this year was different.
But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But I agree with everything you said. I think Isle of Cats is a very, very good drafting game, and I think the polyomino aspect of it is really good as well. So it's a really good combination.
Oh yeah, like I didn't mention this before too, but like when you get the cat, you have to fit it onto your ship.
Yeah.
And you have to put it next to another cat. And so a lot of times you're making some weird, wonky shapes that you can't fit anything else in.
Yeah.
And that's the scoring position too. But yeah, that's my 42. That's Isle of Cats.
Nice. So my number 42 is another two-player game. One that we've also talked. Well, at least I talk
A
about
lot of
a lot.
two-player games. That's your theme for this one, two-player.
I do like a lot of two-player games, but this is one that we talked about many, many times. And again, it's another acquired taste sort of game that's just on my list. This is Radlands.
Oh.
So yeah, Radlands is a post-apocalyptic Mad Max style game with a cyberpunk color theme to it, which saw a lot of neon pinks and neon blues, which again, a combination, me personally, love. Like post-apocalyptic, I like Mad Max. Also like neon pink and blue. I like the cyberpunk color theme. So just one already up my alley. This is a battle style game in which you kind of have like a tableau of cards and you're trying to eliminate your opponent's sort of bases in the game. The main thing of the game is that you pretty much pay for everything that you can do with water. It's post-apocalyptic theme, so water is a scarce commodity.
Water's Bay.
Essentially. And this is where you're either gonna like or hate or love this game, in which water is so hard to get that you really can't do much.
Yeah.
But you have to really, really decide what you try to do to get what you need to get in order to eliminate the bases. And it's a love or hate sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it's a kind of game that just kind of works for me personally. I know for you it doesn't at all.
Oh no, you might be surprised.
I will be very surprised. I would be surprised if it was in the 100, let alone the 50. But yeah, for me personally, Radlands is just a game that just works for me.
We might have to talk about it later.
I prepare to be surprised for that. But that's my number 42.
Nice. All right, the game that will end this section of 10 here is again one of the oldest games that I played on this list. This is a cooperative game. It's a one-to-many game. One person is playing a dead ghost, trying to tell people who murdered them. This is Mysterium. Mysterium, I don't really like Mysterium. I've played Obscurio, and it kind of... I thought I would like Obscurio more, but Mysterium still seems to hit more with me. But the idea is that you have a set of investigators and a set of cards out on the board. So there's the first level is like a person, the second round is a place, and then the third level is a weapon. And you're basically giving clues Dixit style, meaning that you have cards in your hand, and you're trying to give a card that's like a dream, and you're giving it to a player. You're trying to get them to pick a certain person on the first level based on what card you've been given. And I love that almost interpretive nature of Mysterium. It gives a lot of like discussion because everyone can freely see what I've given that person. So it's like, I see a bar. So maybe that person is, a welder, just a welder. It's like, oh no, but that bar looks like a cane. It's probably the old woman. And so it creates these great discussions that I really like in certain games. And Mysterium really hits it that way. I haven't played Mysterium Park, but I feel like I would enjoy that too. But this is my number 41. This is Mysterium.
Nice. Yeah. Mysterium, that's a great choice. Mysterium is a game I really love. So my number 41 is our first crossover.
Oh, the only crossover once?
So far, yeah.
Of the 10 we have.
Yeah. Do you know what game we crossed over with so far?
It could be like any one of these three.
Yeah, it could be a lot actually.
Is it Wonderland's War?
It is Wonderland's War. That's a great guess. Yeah. So Wonderland's War is a game I haven't played as many times as you have. But that playthrough that I had really left a lasting impression on me. It's a game that I really enjoyed. I like the theme of the game, Alice in Wonderland, but it's also a very dark kind of Alice in Wonderland in terms of the art style. I like the fact that it's an area control game that it's not just who the most there wins the area. It goes into a battle.
Yeah.
And the battle is where it's a bag building game.
Yeah.
With a bus mechanic to it. It's a lot going on in the game. It's a fairly heavy game for for an Alice in Wonderland theme. but it kind of flows very well, going from a drafting to area
Right.
control
Yeah.
to bag mechanic battle busting game,
Yeah, yeah,
and then back and forth, and it really, really works very, very well.
yeah.
Although it makes the game like 2 to 3 hours long because there's so many aspects.
But I think
of
one
it,
of the
but,
great
yeah.
things is that you can you make other players more involved by adding a bet mechanic in.
Yes, yeah,
If it wasn't for that bet mechanic, it could go a little too long. Because like if it's a battle that you're not concerned with, or you're not part of, it's like, oh, I don't need to pay attention to this. I could be like doing something else. And that's like a lot of downtime.
yeah.
But if you add the betting, now it's like I need you to win. Or like so now I'm like, you can go for more, man. You can go.
Yeah, it more games that are heavy should implement that kind of idea into it, where it's like keep the whole table engaged the whole time.
Yeah.
If we're gonna be more than 2 hours long.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
really
that's
like
true.
that aspect of it.
A lot of heavy games, like you can have a lot of downtime. That's what
Yeah.
eats up a lot of time.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a great game, and I know you mentioned it before, and everything you said about it is definitely true. But so yeah, that is my number 41.
All right, that's great. All
Yeah.
right, so we had only one crossover in
So
this
far.
top. How many do you think we're gonna end up having?
I'd say they're gonna at least 20 crossovers.
You think 20?
I think it's gonna be 20
I don't think it's
crossovers.
that many. I was gonna go 15.
Really?
Yeah, I was saying
Yeah.
15.
I think
You're gonna be surprised what's on this list.
really. I think a lot of the games that you've mentioned are already going to be on my list. Was probably going to be higher than you think.
Okay.
But
Okay.
definitely,
We'll see.
I'm going with 20. Yeah.
All right. So that is our 50 to 41. We're going to be putting out more of these lists as the month progresses for our third quarter.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments if you like any of the ends below, or for what your 50 to 41 maybe.
Yeah. 100%.
Yep. With that being said, we are the Board Adventurers. I'm Mark.
I'm Zoe.
We'll see you on the next adventure.